The mathematicians of ancient Egypt, architects of eternity. Long before Greece discovered philosophy. Long before Rome built its first road. Long before Europe entered its first golden age. A civilization rose along the Nile, a civilization so advanced, so mathematically precise, that modern engineers still struggle to comprehend its achievements. The ancient Egyptians were not just pyramid builders. They were not simply astronomers or scribes. They were mathematicians, architects of eternity, masters of geometry, engineers of the afterlife. Before we dive into the main story, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the bell notification button for more interesting video like this. Their equations shaped monuments that still stand after 4,500 years. This is their story. Every year the Nile flooded. It gifted the land with black soil, but erased property lines and boundaries. To rebuild the world anew each year, Egyptians needed geometry, measurement, arithmetic, land surveying. So they developed the first organized system of mathematics in human history. Their word for geometry was harpadanapti, the rope stretchers, people who used knotted ropes to create perfect right angles and measure land. This was the first step toward mathematical civilization. Mathematics was the domain of the scribes, a class of scholars trained in temples and royal academies. Armed with reed pens, papyrus, and sharp minds, they solved division and multiplication, fractions, linear equations, area of triangles and rectangles, volume of cylinders, ratios and proportions. Their textbooks still survive. The Rhind mathematical papyrus, around 1650 BCE, includes 84 problems with step-by-step solutions. One problem calculates the slope of a pyramid, still used today by Egyptologists. These were not simple tricks. They were structured algorithms. The ancestors of modern mathematics. Nothing demonstrates Egyptian mathematical genius more than the pyramids. The Great Pyramid of Giza is an equation as much as a monument. Each side is aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions. The base is nearly a perfect square. The difference between sides is less than the thickness of a thumb. Its orientation deviates from true north by only 3/60ths of a degree. How did they accomplish this? Using Pythagorean triangles 1, 2, 5 and 3, 4, 5 ratios centuries before Pythagoras. Ropes stretched to measure perfectly equal lengths. Stars like Kochab and Mizar to align structures with the heavens. Slope ratios calculated using a unit called the sect. The pyramid was not just a tomb. It was a masterpiece of geometry. A cosmic equation designed to last forever. The Egyptians didn't use angles the way we do today. They used the sect, a clever system for measuring the slope of a pyramid. The sect measured how many horizontal units corresponded to a vertical rise of 1 cubit. This allowed architects to plan massive structures with extraordinary accuracy. It is the earliest known trigonometric tool in human history. Egyptian mathematicians weren't isolated engineers. They were astronomers, priests, and philosophers. They calculated the solar year, 365 days, lunar cycles, seasonal calendars, shadow-based timekeeping, star alignments for navigation and temples. Their astronomical calculations influenced Greek astronomy, Babylonian mathematics, later Islamic scholars, the foundations of Western science. Greek scholars like Solon, Thales, Pythagoras, and Plato all studied in Egypt. Egypt was not borrowing knowledge, Egypt was exporting it. To build temples, statues, and cities, Egyptian mathematicians developed volume formulas for granaries and storage, architectural geometry, ratios and proportional design, measurement systems using cubits, palms, and fingers, fractions based entirely on unit fractions. The precision of their work is astonishing. The Luxor temple is aligned with the sunrise on specific days. The Sphinx faces the equinox sunrise. Obelisks were carved to cast shadows marking solstices. Temples were built according to harmonic ratios. These were not coincidences. They were mathematical calculations embedded into architecture. Though many scribes remain anonymous, some names survived. Imhotep, architect, physician, priest, probable designer of the step pyramid. The world's first known engineer. Almost. Scribe who copied the Rhind mathematical papyrus, preserving generations of knowledge. Ka and Merit, architectural masters whose tools were found perfectly preserved in their tomb, including straightedges, cubit rods, and geometry instruments. These individuals shaped civilization, yet history often ignores their brilliance. Over thousands of years, Egypt fell to Assyrians, Persians, Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Arabs, Ottomans, Europeans. Yet the mathematics endured, carved into stone, hidden in papyri, encoded in architecture. Even when libraries burned, when scrolls were stolen, when monuments were broken, the equations survived. The pyramids themselves became textbooks, immovable proof of scientific genius. The mathematicians of ancient Egypt were not merely calculating numbers. They were shaping reality. Their work built temples aligned with stars, pyramids that defy time, calendars that predicted the rhythms of heaven, and engineering principles that later civilizations copied. They were inventors of early geometry, masters of measurement, engineers of stone and shadow, scientists of the cosmos, the first great mathematicians in human history. Their legacy stands tall across the deserts of Africa. Monuments that whisper a simple truth: civilization is built on knowledge. And Egypt was its earliest master. Want more stories like this? Hit like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our story, because this is just getting started.